Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, guys. Today I'm going to be going over the month of June. So this is a June review on my account, and we're going to go over some things on how we're going to improve going forward into the next month. And the way we're going to do this is we're going to set a plan to maximize our profits without increasing risk. So let's just dive into what we have here. So this was June's trading month. And if we go over here, I didn't realize we could do this, but if you go down here to the yearly, we can see the totals for each month that we've participated. We started our first trade on the 12th, middle of March. So yeah, we've had 3 straight losing months, May being our worst month, and June being our finally a profitable month. So I've put these months and all the trades in my trading view right here. And basically how to read this is, of course, the dollar amounts we have each week of the month right here. We've got these little, let me just quickly draw. These blue numbers over here are just the number of trades that we've taken. And you can see the total is 11 trades out of the whole month. This is our average that we've made per week. So negative $14.66 per week for the month of March. These are the totals. So this is $16.07 for the whole of week 2. And all the red is, of course, our losing trades, and all the green is our profitable trades. And of course, these are the days we didn't trade or didn't make, or well, we didn't trade at all. So yeah, as you can see, we have taken quite a number of trades progressing into the account. May being the worst with 34 trades, our worst day having 6 trades and $120 loss. And here we have June making a complete 180. I remember we locked in on the weekend of week 4. We decided we're going to lock in, we're going to stop losing all these trades, and since then we've been having green weeks. And so I want to touch into some of the general things that we want to change, and things that we want to keep, habits that we've want to change and keep that we've been having through this trading month of June. So what needs to stay? In terms of our discipline and psychology, we want to keep the current risk that we're trading per trade. So we're currently trading 0.3%, $30 per trade. And I think that's been fine. Keeping that risk amount, the discipline's been okay. We've been sticking to that. Great. That can stay, as well as keeping our trades to 1 to 2 per day. Our trade frequency has been great during the month of June. We're going to keep it like that. Compared to the other months, you can definitely tell the difference of what trade frequency can do. And yeah, definitely something that we need to keep. Psychology, we had a much calmer approach. I've noticed less emotional, less distraction and fearfulness compared to the other months. Of course, there will be some fear and some emotion that will take place, but it's a huge difference in that, and that is why I put this calmer approach. I should just say calmer approach to the markets, which I think is good. And knowing when to close the charts has also been a good thing that's played a role in trading. Yes, 1 to 2 trades. If the first one's a loss, we allow that second one to correct ourselves if we're really sure of where the market wants to go. But there's also knowing when to call it a day, even after just 1 loss. Like you can see in some of these examples, we just stopped after 1 losing trade, and that's totally fine. You can accept the loss and rather wait for a more favorable day to trade. So I'm proud on acknowledging those moments, and of course having that edge. Since locking in that last week, I think we built a lot more confidence in our strategy. We found our edge, and yes, I think that's where our confidence came from. Now moving on to what needs to be worked on. In terms of our discipline, we do need to work on our trade management. This is a big thing, and this is what we're going to be talking about the most. And it's mainly when we go into detail, it's mainly things like the partials that we're taking, when to close the trade, when to exit, all of that. Also confirmation. We also need to be disciplined enough to wait for the right confirmation before entering. This also ties in with the psychology part. Our impatience is what's stopping us from making good entries and good exits. And I believe that fear, that emotion, is what plays a role in that. So let's dive into exactly what I mean. And instead of going through the losses, I'm going to show you exactly the winners that we had during June. And I'm explaining exactly why we do this. So let's just go down into our first trade. So this was the first trade in June. About a 1 to 3, really not bad. So what we normally do is we take a $30 trade. right? We partial at 1 to 2, right? What are we partialing? We're taking 50% off. So 50% off at 1 to 2 RR. This would be $60 if it were 1 to 2. For this explanation, let's leave this at 1 to 2 for now. Then this would be $60 profit at the full 1 to 2, but since we're partialing, we pocket $30. Correct. And so what happens after that? We want to move our stop loss to break even. Okay. But then after that, normally we would trail our stop loss. So that's one of the things that we want to change, is instead of trailing our stop loss and losing out on potential profits when price just wants to retrace to continue the move further, what we can do is rather have price push on to the full 1 to 4 even, without trailing our stop loss, just leaving it at break even. Because out of the trades that we've had, a lot of the times price exceeds our 1 to 2 to pass 1 to 3 to 1 to 4 even, but stops us out before reaching that level. And so what that will look like is price at $15, but of course we're going to have our stop loss at break even at that point. But just for visual purposes, how the trade would be, this is our 1 to 4. This is then $30 and another $30, so in total $60. And this will be our final take profit at 1 to 4R. We then have $30 plus another $60 pocketed, which gives us a total of $90 in total for the winning trade overall. And I think that's really a good target to aim for, especially considering how we've been catching our trades. If you look at, we've been having our standard deviation measurements, and it lines up nicely to where we want our price, or we want the market to project towards. So I can show you another example. I've got a bunch more showing exactly how the rest of the trades that we've been taking this June work out like this. So here's another trade. This was the Thursday 12th. This was our trade. We trailed our stop loss, and of course we hit our final TP over here, and we decided to end it off right there. But price went further, and we could have claimed a lot more profits had we left our stop loss where it was and kept our final TP at 1 to 4R. You can see again our standard deviation right here lines up with our 2 to 2.5, our first projection. And I think it's not a stretch to try to implement this method of partialing 50% at 1 to 2, claiming our 30% our original risk, and then rather aiming for max profits instead of cutting ourselves so short like this. So yeah, that's another example. I can show you the next example, the Tuesday following week. You can see exact same thing happened. This was our trade, this first one exactly like this. We took a partial, trailed our stop loss, stopped us out, and or I have to go back and check, but either we got stopped out or we closed off at that point. But I think no, we got stopped out. But yeah, like I said, we could have just left our stop loss at break even and gone for the max win right there and maximized our profit. And without losing much. At most we'll lose out on some extra profits if it maybe hit a 1 to 3, but we took our minimum profits with our $30, and that's decent enough considering what our potential gains would be. And you can see that's 3 out of 3 examples of the wins that we had. Our next example, week 4, the Tuesday, I believe was also here on US 30. Most of our wins have been US 30, and I've been taking note of that. Perhaps we'll have the same luck with US 30 next month in July. Speaking of July, I've noticed that I have titled some of my reels as July month instead of June month. I acknowledge this. Too late for me to re-upload, so we'll just have to deal with that. Oh well. Anyway, moving on, you can see here our original trade, same exact thing. We could have maximized our profits. Once again, everything lined up perfectly in terms of how we took this trade, that we could have gone for the full $90, as you can see. But yeah, that last trade, again, well, the last trade was on NAS. You can see this was NAS. This was our trade right here. We took partial profits. And then you can see again, we could have gone for something more. But the point is, I want to show you how this could potentially look like going forward if we implement this new strategy of maximizing our profits. So here you see June results, right? Now, what if I go and I round those results to our 30, to our multiples of 30, like how we usually risk. So this $60.93 becomes $60. This 26 becomes the $30 loss that we normally take. All of these losses round up to our $30 loss, and everything else 60, 60, 30. Okay. So we get more or less the same totals here. Average of 37.50, average 40, somewhat the same, right? It doesn't have to be accurate. We're trying to calculate potentials here. So what would this look like if we half maximized it? Like, for example, we're just like testing out numbers here. What if, say, half of our trades during June, we hit those maximum targets? So instead of our usual partial at 30 and maybe get some change or whatever, it was the full 90. So I only changed two of them, these two, to 90. What would that look like? Already would make a huge difference. We get $60 out of the week and $240 in total for the month. And that's just hitting 2 out of the 4 wins. If we look over here, what if we kept that strategy consistent? This is what we'd potentially be looking at. $330 in total for the month. And I think we definitely can get here, but we want to keep things a little bit realistic. So let's have a look at what we have as goals here. So, of course, our goal for this account, we want to get above our starting balance, our 10K balance. Of course, as you can see, we are in the negative and you want to climb back up. So, of course, our goal is definitely to try and get back there. That's just at the bare minimum right now. We will focus on the profits afterwards. Our next goal is the daily goal, and that is to aim for at least one high quality setup. So like here in June, these one win, one buy, one win, one sell profitable trades is what we're aiming for. You don't necessarily want to take two. The ideal thing is to take one and done, right? So that's the aim for the daily goal. We want to get that trade the first time correct, that one high quality setup, and that means waiting for confirmation. That's what the high quality means. Now moving on to the weekly goal. So as you can see, we have an average of $40.06 a week. This is from our accurate June results, okay? And we want to kind of try and maximize our profits. And what does that look like? Well, we kind of want to aim for $60 a week. So this is exactly why we have this as our goal. I know it's in our now onto our weekly goal. Our weekly goal is $60 per week. We aren't going for the full $82. We want to be a little bit more realistic, give ourselves some wiggle room. So we're aiming for $60 per week as a minimum. Let's try and get that. I think it's realistic. Let me know in the comments if perhaps maybe being a bit too hard or too lenient. But yeah, that is our goal per week. And then our monthly goal, we're aiming for, of course, we're aiming for the half maximize, then definitely our total of $240 a month will be our bare minimum to aim for. So I think if that makes sense, let me know. That's definitely our plan going forward, our targets going forward, if you will. So I think if you want to get into detail in the things, I've made some little bit of notes on what we want to do to minimize and maximize our profits or our losses. yeah, so on and so on, you know what I mean. So things we want to avoid is obviously taking early entries. So before news and before our session, we don't want to be taking entries during those times. We're not comfortable during those times, so why would we? I know we were experimenting and we were trying our luck with certain things, but those things need to stop. We want to avoid any more losses. We want to minimize loss here. Next, of course, we mentioned entering without enough confirmation. A lot of the times we've seen some low probability IFGs not being closed over, not waiting for that confirmation, and that's contributing to a lot of our losses. Taking too many partials, that's falling in line with our trade management. So that is why we're sticking with the one partial at 1 to 2 risk to reward, 50% off. Because there were some cases where the trades that I have taken, not maybe not this June, but previous months, we're also taking those things into account. There were cases where we took so many partials in succession that we were just cutting our profits and trying to lock in money out of fear and without any real logic. We're just cutting a lot of our winners, taking too many partials too close together. So that's just something to take note of. Giving into emotion, that's a general thing. We know this already. Distraction and overanalyzing. I know that played a much bigger role during the beginning of this whole channel. Streaming and trading is not easy. Believe me, I thought it was. It isn't. It's a lot of added extra pressure. A lot of commentary you have to deal with. A lot of having to be present and still give your piece, your sense, your input, your value, but at the same time trying to focus on the goal of trading. And while there's a lot of opinions flying about, a lot of doubt can also seep through. So a lot of distraction and overanalyzing can hurt your overall trading experience. So that's something I had to overcome over those months. So yeah, moving on to the next thing, cutting your profits short. I mentioned that already. Trading before and during new. Okay, I said that twice. Sorry. Holding on too long to losing trades. That was a big thing, specifically for one of the London trades. Excuse me, my voice felt like it went away. So particularly one of the London trades, I noticed that there was the one trade that we took and held during news, and it was clearly consolidating, but we're holding on to that trade for way too long. It was clearly not highly favorable. So that's another thing to take note of, not to stay into especially losing trades for so long. It's best to know when to just cut your losses. So moving on to maximizing our profits. So we mentioned taking less partials. We're going to take one partial now, 1 to 2, keeping stop loss or break even. We've mentioned all of these, pretty much mentioned all of these along the way. So I don't think any of these were necessary to mention. But yeah, I just want to go over one more thing, and that is our new revised trading plan going forward. So moving forward, we're going to be trading USDT and NAS100, Tuesday to Friday. $30 risk per trade, 1 to 2 trades per day, looking for 2 to 3 winning setups per week. That is the goal. We look for intraday setups, right? This is the strat. New York AM session, after news. This is our timing. And what do we look for? We look for high time frame liquidity, and we apply our entry model. Then comes the trade management. When executing, we partial again at 1 to 2 RR at the $60 mark, stop loss to break even, target at 1.4 RR or $120 mark, profiting 90 in total, as we explained earlier. So I hope that makes sense to you guys. I tried to run through everything as quick as possible, but at the same time trying to explain what my plan is going forward. We're not increasing risk, but instead maximizing our profits. Instead, we want to tweak things, refine things without having to put ourselves in too much of a dangerous situation where we could be blowing the account or being too deep into drawdown. So I think this is a positive thing. Reviewing and adjusting the plan, making improvements here and there. I think this is a much better approach than just having to move on to, okay, now we're going to risk $40. We're going to try and get there quicker. Let's just keep things consistent with how much we risk. It's only been a month, so let's not do anything too drastic to change too much of our trading habits. So keep doing what we're doing. All we're changing is we are waiting. We're trying to practice a little bit more patience in letting the profits come to us. So I think that's important. Let's see how this goes, trying to implement this plan, going for the full $90. So I hope you guys are excited. I'm excited for this new month. I'm excited to try this new plan. And yeah, all the best of luck for trading, especially with this NFP week. Let me just tell you what exactly the plan is for next week. Next week, we have NFP not falling on the Friday. We have a bank holiday on Friday, so NFP is going to be falling on the Thursday. Normally, our approach with NFP is we trade the Tuesday, the Wednesday, and not the day before NFP, which would have been the Friday. So Thursday, we wouldn't have trade. But since NFP is on the Thursday, we don't trade the day before NFP, which means Wednesday is a no-go. So the only days we are trading, we don't trade Mondays. So Tuesday and Thursday are the only days we're going to be trading next week. It's sad, but yeah. You need to keep that habit out of you, of trying to be on the charts constantly 24/7, okay? Let the market, let the setup come to you. Don't be chasing after it. Be patient. The week following this, I'm sure, will be much better. Yeah, we'll have a much better week the following week. But just be careful with NFP week. It can be a little bit windy. So, yeah, I'll see you guys on Tuesday. Super excited. All the best and happy trading.